that I, insulted that woman. She had a deaf and blind foster daughter, and she asked where she could find like a seeing eye dog, and I was like, oh, I don't know, but I'll be sure to keep my eyes and ears open. Ooh. But anyway,
what a Wednesday.
Welcome to So What'd You Learn? We're the podcast where we learn from other people's mistakes so you don't have to. I'm Alex.
I'm Zach.
I'm Dallas.
And
I just realized we did that in the wrong order
We
last
sure did.
episode.
I skipped.
Ooh.
yeah, it's big. We were sitting in a weird circle. But
It's
we are in
because
a
I
weird
put
circle.
you and Chance together so you can sit together because I care about these things.
Oh, shucks.
okay.
Now you're back
so I'm
together again.
So I'm actually sitting in your spot.
Yeah, I
The
know.
rope.
I noticed. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
Zach.
the feng shui's off, I know.
But
But
we
you
are
have
actually...
Busey looking over you.
That's true.
Busey.
Busey. But-
Busey and me. Me and Busey.
God damn it. But we are rejoining Chance for part 2 of our two-parter.
Yes! So nice, we did it twice.
Exactly. Thank you for coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first episode we enjoyed so much, and you had so much to talk about. We're going to have you on this week's episode to talk more about it and fill us in a little bit more.
That'll be our second two-parter. You are the second two-parter to two-part in a second formation.
Yes.
To part.
All the
It's like
twos.
it's like being the first but second best.
Yeah.
That sounded so good.
Like Neil Armstrong. You're like Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, so where were we? We were talking about you took your first shot of testosterone.
Right.
And that you felt like a brand new person.
I did. I felt like
Now
a
we're
brand
calling
new
you
butterfly.
T-Bone.
I felt like a
T-Bone.
brand new butterfly out of my...
Chrysalis?
I was going to say womb, and that didn't sound right. So,
That's the,
Chrysalis?
that sounds like,
blankets, preferably.
For the audience, the word is chrysalis.
Yes, that is.
I liked blankets. Okay.
Cocoon? Is cocoon a good word?
The
Right.
flying cocoon. Oh God, we're a little drunk. Sorry.
That's a thing. It's
We've
fine.
been drunk for an entire week.
Dude, I have been, but we don't need to talk about that.
Actually, I've been staying pretty good, but
So, T
Tea.
in the bones.
Oh, and my bone, it felt so good.
Well, not your bones, but
Well,
we
not
might have to cut this off.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, I had my first tea shot, and then I was having them regularly. That was at age 18. I'm trying to make myself remember. So.
Sure.
And then, like, as time goes by, like, I'm just learning about how the changes are. The process, I will say, is very slow. Like, you don't see real changes. I am now, 12 years on testosterone?
Yeah,
and I'm
12 years removed,
I am finally getting a full beard.
which looks great, by the way.
Finally. It's still patchy, but it looks better.
So you wouldn't say that you experienced like a second puberty.
I would, actually. You get a second period.
damn, that's
You fucked me up. Thanks. You get a
Now
second.
it's twice a month, motherfucker.
Oh no. Second puberty does happen in a sense where I went through pimples again, acne again, all over again. Yeah.
I'm
But it-
so glad I started dating you well after that. It's like if you
Thanks,
had shitty skin, I'd be like, I don't know if it's gonna work out.
And Chance is really glad that you don't have big wet lips.
yeah,
Ooh.
that was awful.
Luckily-
I really don't miss those wet lips.
Luckily, Stridex pads takes care of both those things. Stridex pads, use it on
shit.
your face.
I mean, we could shove a tampon in there. Right?
Holy shit.
So Kotex
Shit just
or
got real.
Stridex, please sponsor us. We're big fans.
Yeah. So, no, second puberty, getting pimples again, but it wasn't as bad because I had really bad acne when I went through it the first time, where it was so bad that I was actually like picking at my face. And if you actually,
Oh, I did that.
if you look closely at my face, I have scars.
You got
they're
acne
not
scars. Yeah.
they're not really bad now because the facial hair has grown over it, but
Hey, you
you
that's
can-
my trick too.
yeah, you can kind of see it. It's there, and that was because I was really stressed out and anxiety, whatever.
I
So-
can't imagine what you were dealing with. It sounds like it's
Yeah,
pretty
like
easy
you
going,
know,
Should have been just smooth sailing. Why you gotta complain about it?
why did my life have to go that direction? I don't know. So yeah, so puberty all over again. More hair, definitely more hair.
I
have
can
it
imagine.
on
I've
my
noticed.
yeah, but you have chest, belly, on my booty some more probably.
Yeah.
It definitely got
Welcome
thicker.
to the club.
Right?
Yeah.
You get a nice boofer, which is the hair right above your ass crack.
Oh yeah, that's there. That's
Yeah.
definitely
That's
there.
a boofer.
I braid mine.
Braided boofer.
Oh, I should try that. Can I put it in ponytails? Would you like that?
Pigtails, preferably.
Okay.
So I can grab
Gives me
onto
something to
it.
grab
Yeah, I
onto.
was gonna say- Oh god.
Back to like real shit. Then you get bald. You can get bald. My hairline has changed quite a bit
Interesting.
from
I would have
haven't
never known because you've got a really nice full head of hair.
It's a full head, but the hairline like has moved
It's
itself
changed.
back a bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I never knew that's something that could happen.
Yep, that's the thing.
I know a man, trans man who, before I knew him both before and post transition, or know him, yeah. And before transition, his body type was very like slight and thin, and then post transition, he like looked like a middle aged, balding, kind of pudgy guy.
Boy, that talk about a.
Oh.
bad-
But he is his true self now, and that's
yeah,
what
no,
matters.
I was gonna say something. That was a mean joke. You shouldn't say that. He hit a bad roll on the random characterize, and he got a bad roll. But that's very mean, and please cut that.
Oof. No,
I don't know.
Leave it in.
That
Leave it
was
in.
A very good insult. I'm really happy about that.
So
But oh fuck! Oh, I only get one reroll per playthrough.
Fuck.
So, yes, a lot of changes happen. I definitely filled out more in the shoulders. One thing that doesn't change is your bone structure.
I was just gonna ask if that.
Yeah, that doesn't like I have hips like man, I don't know. Like I should be in like a dance class because they're so wide.
I mean, those hips
And
don't lie.
It's annoying. It's annoying, but you can't do anything about it. You just wear the right kind of clothes to hide it. And actually, if you haven't had chest surgery yet, your breast reduction goes down a tiny bit, but it wouldn't be really noticeable. It's just the fat distribution goes down.
Are we talking like from a C to a B or a B to an A type of thing?
Not
or-
really. I wouldn't consider you going down a stage. It's more like just that fat kind of like
Redistributes throughout
yeah.
the body.
It doesn't. It's not quite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
there.
like
Prominent might be.
yeah.
So-
Estrogen is a really strong factor in where fat is placed on the body.
Right.
And
That
so
makes
when you start
sense.
replacing
It
it with
puts fat
testosterone,
in
it moves it
places-
around.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize if I
I
sound
have
like
no
I know
idea.
nothing.
Yeah,
it's because
I
I
know.
know nothing.
Yeah. Zach, we know you know nothing.
And,
That's why I'm here.
you listen to the pod. But no, that's.
And it's gonna get really weird now here in a second,
Okay,
folks.
Try it out.
I'm tuned in.
Your private parts change.
Mm-hmm.
Your labia, I think it is labia.
Clitoris,
lips.
labia.
Clitoris, fucking the lips, or whatever. I don't know because this is why I'm not meant to have them. But,
There's the vulva. There's labia majora. Labia
I think it's the
minor,
labia. It should be
and-
labia because when I remember reading my book that I had, it grows. It gets to become the size of
clitoris.
a mini penis.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it's not big enough to do anything with.
Right.
It's big enough to do plenty with.
Well, you can whack it off a few times and be good with it. So, like, it's fine.
I mean,
I've seen some
I've
videos.
yeah.
I'm sure
know
you
what you're
have,
talking about.
and you all should look it up because it's very educational.
And it can be very hot. So
Yeah.
you know.
It is actually. So that's a thing that changes. Your
Bonus round.
bonus
con.
round. This is where the sexual stuff happens. you actually get more horny because of the testosterone.
That makes
like,
sense, yeah.
Oh yeah, because
It-
that would that tracks.
It
Yeah,
sure does.
it does.
track.
It's a thing, and like mine comes and goes because I've been on it for so long.
Okay.
But like
Comes in waves.
mostly it's in waves.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in
It's
waves.
like
Yeah.
Big old boner.
Those are the changes that I have experienced, and a lot of it, like, you don't notice right away. It's going to be over time.
Subtle things.
Yeah, again, it's been like 12 years for me. But if you want facial hair in a year, sorry, you're not going to get it. It's
Yeah.
going to happen way over like
Gradually.
5 years plus. Like,
Well, it basically is. It is like going through puberty again.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean-
'cause I just remember waking up one day and I didn't have pubes, and then I woke up one day. Well, there the fuck they are.
and your balls dropped and everything.
I was just gonna
Yeah.
say, don't feel bad because this is the first time I've had a reasonably filled in beard. I'm 26, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean,
No,
even
it takes time.
yeah, I just there's all kinds
No,
of stuff.
when I was 18, yeah, my beard looked patchy and shitty, and I thought it looked great.
I had a weird chin strap thing going on, and I just
Yeah, I had
rocked
that
it
too,
for like
yeah.
a solid few months. It was bad.
Yeah, mine's now finally doing the full-on thing,
It
like
looks good.
without
No, it does
the
look
chin
You got a-
strap.
You got a good
so-
extended goatee.
Yeah.
Check out the picture. That'll
Right.
be up on the Instagram page later.
Yeah, I'll post a
Yeah,
picture
everyone
of me.
ogle my adorable boyfriend.
Yeah,
It's
You
beautiful.
gotta be
Exactly.
jealous because
But
you should be.
You
'cause
do
they're
not
adorable.
grow in height. Okay, I
Okay.
want to make that clear. Some people,
Bones aren't changing.
yeah, some people want to look up and see like, how can I gain in height? You're not. Sorry, unless you've taken it like super early on. There are some people where you, before your first puberty, like when you're like 11, maybe 10 years old,
Ish. Yep.
Sure, yeah,
you can
so,
avoid having the breasts grow by taking hormone blockers. I didn't get that opportunity,
Right.
Yeah. Also,
And
I don't
before
wanna
we,
what?
well, before we, I just want to address this, that there is this concern with a certain group of people that the trans agenda is convincing all of our children to be trans, and we're putting children on these hormone replacers, and we're cutting them and giving them surgery before they're even old enough to know what anything is, and that's not at all what is happening, and you need to calm the fuck down.
These are the same people that are looking up anti-vax facts via Facebook while shitting on their phone.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's a broad generalization, but it's
it
not
tracks
wrong.
a bit, but we're talking about when children are like, hey, something's fucking wrong.
I don't feel right.
Like, oh, here's an example. I watched a documentary one time where a child asked their mother, I want to die because in heaven I'll be a girl.
Yeah, because in
And they're
heaven
like,
you're
oh
exactly
shit,
who
we
you wanna
should
be.
probably
That's a lot
address
to hear.
this.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Right.
to hear from your 7-year-old child. So maybe before they start hitting puberty in earnest, you can put them on a puberty blocker so that they can work through.
Right,
this.
that's the point
and if
of
it
that. Yeah.
isn't, if transitioning is not something that they're into, you
They
can
can
take them
revert
off
back.
the puberty blocker, and they will go through puberty when you take them off of it.
Right.
So they can
Interesting.
continue to have a assigned gender at birth, puberty, and development after
Oh.
that point.
I did not know that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Really interesting. Wow.
So on top of that, though,
Okay.
it makes sense to then say you put them on hormone blockers, they come off of it. Also, you go on testosterone, it's harder to revert back because you're not going to lose that facial hair. It's not going to just go away. You're going to have that forever unless you get
Okay.
So
that
you'd be stuck in the
laser
middle if you don't.
surgery
Yeah.
to sear that shit off of your
Interesting.
face.
Because
Okay.
the testosterone causes the follicles to actually grow in a way
Yeah.
to produce the hair, and you
And
can't
Yeah.
constantly, like hair does,
Now
always
it's there,
grows.
Yeah, so
it
it will
ain't
always
going
be
away.
there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That will not revert back, and I forgot to mention about your voice does change. Clearly, obviously, mine is the way it is. I wish it was deeper. It's fine, but I like it. It's better.
Deeper.
Well,
Deeper. And a lot of that, like, speaking of voice, like, you can... I speak kind of high-pitched sometimes because that's how I am, because I want people to hear me, but you can...
It really cuts through
cut
the
through
noise
you.
like a fucking
well, I
I wouldn't say this is a bad thing.
blade.
But I can hear you across the room when I'm ordering a drink at the bar.
You have a
Thanks.
distinct.
Some people just have that voice. I think it's a frequency thing, not a tone thing.
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can like train your voice to like talk deeper and like produce that sound that you're looking for.
Well, there's that documentary, Do I Sound Gay, which I finally just watched, actually, about 3 weeks ago. It's been out for years, but I finally just watched it, and it is about a gay man's journey who has a very effeminate voice he feels through speech therapy. And, yeah, kind of learned a lot about that, about how just to change different way you pronounce things and the different tone and sentence structure that you can use. So I imagine it's kind of similar. That might be me projecting something that I just watched onto.
No, you're right, because I watched some YouTube videos before I even took testosterone. Like, what happens if?
Yeah,
And they're like,
just
well,
little
you
curiosities.
can. It's like singing. Like you practice your voice.
You train your voice.
You train your voice. I haven't done that so much because I don't really care that much. Like
Sure.
whatever.
I have to be honest. When I did not know you were trans for the longest time. I actually just found out probably in the last 6 months or so. Since I've known you.
That's quite recent.
Yeah, no, it is, and I've known you for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just always thought you were male, and just never questioned it. Never thought.
Cisgendered males.
Sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But
Yeah.
I just never questioned it. So to hear you say like, this is how you felt and this is how you perceived, it's interesting to hear, because as an outside observer, I just never. It's interesting.
You
to
didn't notice otherwise.
Interesting to notice, to hear about those little foibles, if you will, of people's own perceptions of themselves.
And that's the power of testosterone, because it is very powerful. I mean, you gain muscle mass. Like I could, if I wanted to. I'm lazy. I don't care. I can work out, and I can get pretty buff if I wanted to. I'm 5'2", and I can get pretty bulk if I really wanted to. But it's not. It doesn't really appeal to me. Like I used to work out a little bit just to make myself feel good about it. But
It's good for that pride thing.
yeah,
I get it.
there's a lot that testosterone has to offer. But
Testosterone gets things done.
yeah.
says the human race for Billy.
I'm
For
in
the
one-
rest of you,
I
yeah,
am once again in need of testosterone support.
you're lacking testosterone, and you're lacking testosterone. It's amazing what you can do, and I don't have much to say about males to females, but I know that as far as the testosterone goes, like it does have a lot to like offer you and like help in that passing way. Like if you're going out in public and you're trying to be perceived as a male, it does that for you very
Effectively.
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah. And I don't have too many male to female friends, and I think that would be really educational on my part, so that I'm not like twisting words up or whatever. But I've seen some very beautiful male to females as well. And
As have I, on a certain website that will not be named.
yeah. Anyway, we're changing that subject real quick.
Something that I wanted to touch on briefly about the differences between MTF, male to female, and FTM, female to male, transgender people, is that one of the ways in which our society fucks over women consistently can also be seen in the male to female transgender community, because on average, Chance, how much do you spend on testosterone?
Testosterone for me has varied. It's been about $50 to $70 for 4 months.
For 4 months.
4 months lasting.
Wow.
Estrogen
That's
is
injected.
like
really cheap. That's
Six-
like cheaper
injecting.
than
estrogen is
Yeah.
like 6 times as expensive.
Of course.
That's
Holy
crazy.
shit.
I had no
Because
idea.
it's, it's one of those ways in which, trans men are not the only people who take testosterone. It's bodybuilders, so because it's the main market is to benefit men, it's really cheap. Just in the same way that Viagra is covered by insurance.
Yeah.
Yet
Birth control,
IUDs,
and
IUDs,
those
all
type
of that
things.
are much more expensive for women.
Yeah.
estrogen for use in trans women is significantly more expensive because society hates women.
Yeah, it's
That's
it's
fucked up.
fucking terrible, and
Yeah.
I love women.
we all do, Dallas. Well,
Oh, please,
Yeah.
please elaborate.
No, so
yeah,
I mean,
we
yes,
never-
no, I agree, but then this reminded me of a chat that I wanted to put on here because
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think it gets talked about enough. Even though that I've transitioned and I'm much happier in my body and who I am,
Yeah.
It's been a
It's-
positive experience.
it's been positive, mostly positive.
Yeah.
It's
Overall.
also still difficult because guess what? I moved then into a masculine environment.
Yeah, the
So-
toxic masculinity.
There's toxic masculinity.
Fun.
And
Welcome to the party.
Yep, I did. And it has been difficult. And I remember distinctively I think it was actually my grandmother told me it. You're going to be going through a hard life. And I'm like, yep, I am.
Yeah, yeah.
Because men are expected to do a lot more and like provide a lot more. There's a certain expectation that men have, and
Being the breadwinner, being the provider, so
Yeah.
to speak. Yeah.
that has definitely struggled me a little bit because I've had to learn how to be more masculine, but I also don't want to learn how to be toxic about
right.
You
it.
don't want to be broy. You don't want to
Because
be.
I've dealt with a lot of really awful
sure you
men.
Yeah. For a
And-
moment, Chance was working in construction plumbing.
Ooh, which
So
is
it's like it's a double whammy of toxic masculinity, homophobia, transphobia, misogyny.
yeah,
Yeah.
not a good scene to
and
be
it's
in.
also most of that is based off of tenors or
Tenure.
Tenure.
So if
yeah.
you just are getting into it, you're literally being
You're
shit
garbage
on
for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and like I never told anybody who I was, and none of that. Talked about my gay parts and whatever. Like, it's one of those things that you're like there and you're just listening to what the people have to say, and
you're
it
like,
kind of
"This is
tweaks
all
you.
garbage."
Well,
Yeah,
so
it tweaks you a little bit.
I don't really have a lot to input here, but I do. Maybe it's so much different for me, where I'm coming from. But that kind of stuff just kind of washes right over me. But I think we're all like, folks are trained that way a little bit. Like, oh, that's just what happens. That's just what you should expect.
Right,
That's just
right.
what. Because I worked union on trains. I was a roofer. I did all kinds of little like odd job construction stuff, and that was just like second nature. I never even thought twice about it, but it's so much different from your perspective.
Right.
It
it's
is
like-
because I'm actually kind of actively thinking about it,
Mhm.
and,
it's-
nobody else is because it's not.
I never really dished it back, but yeah, no, now that I think about it, like that was like a daily thing for years.
Right.
Well,
and for a lot of people, the reason why I think most people are able to just kind of let it wash over them is because for most people, there's not that part in your head telling you they're talking about me,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You're because there's less a part of you that can internalize it. It's easier to let it wash aside. But when you're, I would assume, a trans man and you're in an environment where people are denigrating women and also like being homophobic, there is an overlap there where you're like, wow, this is really uncomfortably close to who I identify as a person, and so it's harder to just let it go because they're talking about you in kind of a roundabout way.
Whatever. Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it definitely in that respect because I had to live it. But like when I first, and I've always been into like labor work and working with a lot of different men, and I've worked with some really rough people. And I don't know, like one day it just kind of like slapped me in the face, I guess. I think it was just, there was a lot of it, more than I expected. But at the end of the day, I still enjoy that kind of work. So I'm kind of like conflicted. Like I like being a labor worker. I like learning new trades. I like learning new skills. I like being in that environment.
Yeah.
But it's some people more than others are better about it, and it just depends. Like you can't guarantee where you're gonna go. Like I can't sit here and assume and hope and pray that I'm gonna go somewhere that it's not gonna happen.
Right.
So I just have to, try it anyway. Try something new and hope that I can connect with people.
You can also, sometimes I do this. It definitely doesn't work for everyone. And it's also probably not the healthiest thing. Zach might be able to attest to this. But you go into new situations, new places of work, assuming the worst. So then when it does happen, it doesn't catch you off guard. And if it doesn't happen, you're like, cool.
Like, wow, I was expecting
It's not a really healthy way to think about things.
This isn't a total shithole.
I was expecting an unseasoned shit sandwich, but they sprinkled some parsley on that bitch. This isn't so bad.
Is that some Lowry's I'm detecting on there?
Ooh.
And that might say a lot about me, but I'm just...
Well, I was going to say, like, what makes you think I haven't already done that?
Maybe.
I have a very high anxiety in my life, and it's really so annoying. So I'm already thinking about that. But that's where my problem lies, is that I will already think of that and think that I can't be in a position like that because it's already in my mind. So I'm like, I already know they're going to be like that. Why do I need to bother? But I'm trying to work my way out of that and just hope that maybe everything will be okay. So I'm trying to be more optimistic.
I had a similar situation because I wanted to go to culinary school, and I got really inspired because I didn't like what I was doing in college. So I went and got some good advice from a friend who told me, well, go work in a restaurant, see how you like it before you pay thousands of dollars to go to school. And I eventually, after 3 months, I got hired as a dishwasher, made my way to prep cook, and pretty much was told flat out by the sous chef that I was too nice to work in a kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
That I would never make it, and I am too nice to work in a kitchen. So
that's like the best way to be told, like, you don't have what it takes. It's like you have too much of a good thing in your personality to make it here. So try something different is better than
that's basically
you
what
don't have talent. It's not you don't have talent. It's like no, like you have to be an asshole to work here, and you're not an asshole. You know what? Thank you.
No,
you know what, sous chef? I honestly really appreciate it. But next time I come in, like I'm gonna I'll give you my comp meal because that was really good advice. They're like, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Call me a cunt and throw a knife or something. I don't know, kick over a garbage can. But yeah. Just so I relate very much to that. And I also grew up in an all-boys, or didn't grow up, well, I guess I did, but I went to an all-boys Catholic school, so I know all about toxic masculinity and not being able to express oneself, so.
Especially when it's all trapped inside of a little tiny Catholic cage.
It sure was.
It's called the confessional.
Well, and for me, I when I start out, especially if it's in a new environment with new people, just because I have social anxiety anyway, I am also I start out kind of timid. Like, I'm just like, oh, I don't know how to do this.
You want to feel it out.
But I want to, be able to learn, and I want to know how to feel out the workplace. But it's something that I need to work on personally, and that's something that I think any trans guy could learn from.
Yeah, you have to relearn a whole different set of rules, societal rules, and what is.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah, no, it
is because you have to switch.
How would you say you're doing, adjusting to all of those changes today compared to a few years ago when you started feeling more comfortable day to day physically with yourself, and then compared to now?
So I was going to touch on that a little bit because I missed talking about going through high school with going through my transition, which I think people need to know about.
Well, you started transitioning
I transitioned at 18.
At 18, you were in high school.
I was still in high school. Because
you were a super senior?
I was a super senior.
Super senior!
I love you,
super senior!
I love you, babe, but I was a fucking super senior. And Mainly because, though, if you were hearing my story, I missed school a lot, so
Right.
I
Wasn't
needed
paying
to.
attention. Can you start over from the beginning?
Yeah, asshole. No. No, I just, I was struggling and I couldn't really focus.
You got
So
a lot of shit to unpack, more than the average person. Though.
yeah, I'm unpacking at this podcast. It's great, wonderful. So when it came to high school, and I was transitioning in that, it was really kind of awkward at first because I would go in there and I actually was able to change my name before I started a different, it was called Realistic Transition Program. And then there was Puget Sound Skills Center, which they were off things from high school. It wasn't like you're actually
they're
going
satellite organizations.
Yeah, something like that. So before I started, I had changed my name. So I changed my name with the courthouse. I changed my social security card, and then I changed my birth certificate. However,
And this is all in 2008.
yes, I did this
Okay.
very fast. So then I started in with Realistic Transition Program, which was my whole okay, well, I haven't quite graduated, but how am I going to graduate?
When we say realistic transition program, you're talking about a high
It's
school
an
program, not a transgender program.
No, it's not a
wanted
transgender
to
program.
clear
It's
that
it's a program that helps people that have a little bit harder time getting to understand life itself. They teach you actual life things, like doing interviews and filling out applications, and they'll send you out on actual jobs, and you get to do an internship while you're also going to school.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually
So-
ended up graduating from Big Picture, which was a
heard
very
about
similar
that.
structure. Yeah, so the last 2 years of high school, I moved over to Big Picture for 11th and 12th grade. There is basically, throughout the whole year, you have to build a portfolio and hit certain milestones and requirements to graduate, and then explain why you should. But the main piece is every Tuesday and Thursday we would do internships. So you had to apply for an internship internally and then externally, I believe, depending on where you go. And then you have to go to that internship and do whatever your intern boss tells you to do.
Right.
And you can do whatever you want. So you don't get paid for it, but you don't have to go to school on Tuesday and Thursday. So
Yeah,
go.
that's awesome.
yeah, and you just have one advisor that guides you through the whole graduating process from beginning to end. So if I were to start 9th grade, I would have the same teacher and just one teacher the whole time until I graduated. So, you can build a relationship and
I see.
yeah. So I was a huge fan of that because right when I got done with high school, I started teaching music at the high school I graduated from through a grants program because what I wanted to do was teach music. And I had a job at Seattle Drum School as a sub when I was 18, a month after I graduated. So that's what my internship was for 2 years. And then right when I was done, I was doing that. I didn't keep doing that forever, but
Yeah. You were able
Yeah.
to jump in easier.
Right.
yeah.
How do these transition programs work for you?
So, yeah, coming out and starting it when I was 18 years old, it was actually really helpful because like I talked about before, I wasn't participating in school a lot until much later. So they were able to kind of jumpstart me and get to actual life problems, life things, this is how you handle a job. These are what we have to offer.
Real life skills.
Life skills, doing your taxes, actual things that made sense to me.
Things they should be
Yeah.
teaching in high school.
Yeah.
Right?
And they might be doing it now. I don't know. I've been in high school
Some
forever.
places do.
But you know what the most important thing to teach in high school is? Cursive. Just kidding. Fuck that shit.
I still write in cursive.
Oh,
and I
let's
love
not
it.
open that box. So I know what you're gonna say, honey. We're not opening that box.
It's not important.
No.
Not at this moment.
So, yeah, they were helping me, but my point of this is transitioning through still high school. It was still considered high school. I had peers. I had people that
Right.
didn't really know me. but the teachers had more of an issue than my peers did. So
The kids accepted it. It was just like, okay, you're.
yeah. I even tried to. I believe I changed my name on my transcripts, but I'm not quite sure because they still called me by my old name, and they still called me a female because I didn't show signs of it. Like it was like I still look like a girl, but I wasn't. Like I dressed like a boy, but it was very confusing to them. So
I do have one quick question to kind of go back to, you say you changed your name. So how did you go about changing your name? Because that's a question I've always had, and something I've always thought about if I were to transition. Don't have plans to, but if I were, how would I go about choosing a name?
like
I'm just curious. And
the process,
or the process, or if you had
are you
something in mind.
asking me
Clarify,
about
yeah.
why did I change my name
think-
to what I did?
How did you do it?
Yeah.
Right. So okay. So I think
know-
there's the confusion. Are you asking
Yeah.
about the legal process of changing your name, or are you talking about
The
how
reason.
to choose your new name?
How to choose the new name? That's more what I'm curious about.
Gotcha.
Because I know you can legally
Okay.
go to the courthouse and get it changed. Just a lot of paperwork, I assume.
So,
But that has to be a personal.
no, it
thing
is. It's
Yeah.
absolutely personal.
It's choosing your new persona. So that's why I guess why I'm so curious and why I wanted to get into
Yeah,
it.
it's a little more important than rolling a Tauren druid on a new realm with your friends. Like,
I'm gonna
Exactly.
name myself Ralph, guys. Ralph.
Hey guys, I'm Ralphus. How's it going?
I'm sorry for anyone that's named Ralph out there.
that's unfortunate.
we don't blame you.
But no,
change your name.
But no, it's something I think about, and a name is so personal and so part of that identity.
You want me to get personal?
I mean, what the fuck have we been doing for?
I know.
90
We've been getting
minutes?
real personal. Yeah. So I changed my name. The name that I chose was Chance. And I chose it because my grandparents gave me a second chance at my life.
I love that.
Oh,
I
that's
did
kinda
not
awesome.
have that. Like I would have killed myself if it was not for them.
Right.
Like,
No, I
It
think
would
that's a
have been-
fantastic tribute
Yeah.
to the people that helped you transition. So that's exactly what I
Yeah.
was trying
I
to
am
get
glad.
at.
I know that was dark for a second, but it was.
No, that makes
you
sense.
know, it was the choice that I made, and I don't regret it, and I still love my name.
That's a great
So,
name, and I'm just curious because that's something I always think about personally when I meet a trans person or talk to a trans person.
Yeah,
of like,
it's a unique question, and it's actually a good question because then you really get to know them and their personality a little bit better.
yeah, because most of us don't get to choose our names, and you
Yeah.
can always change it to something, but this is a genuine chance to make a completely new person, persona, or what have you.
Yeah.
So I was just curious of
No,
your
no,
thought
it's fine.
process and kind of the origins. So thank you for enlightening.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
I had this idea for a like a skit or a stupid joke where a person is coming out to their family as trans, and the family's like, we totally accept you. You're you are who you're going to be, and we love you no matter how you identify and all that. And so
Very
and
wholesome.
then the person's like, but I want to change my name. And they're like, okay, yeah, what do you have? And they're like, Burl. Get the fuck out of my house.
If you
I'm
listen
sorry.
to this podcast, you know what Burl means.
They know the legend of Burl.
Like, I will not have a child named Burl.
Oh no.
There will not be a Burl in this house.
Oh no. Oh, you guys are so good at derailing.
Aren't we just?
I don't remember where I was at.
Before we were talking
So
about
we did names, and then it was
before that, it was you were going
This new school and-
transitioning. Your teacher's having a harder
oh
time.
the school. I was talking
Yeah.
about school basically. Okay. So yeah, school was really awkward because the teachers would not identify me as a male. They kept identifying me as a female for a long while, and I don't blame them because truth be told, if you can see the physical changes, it's a lot easier than when somebody looks kind of feminine and they already kind of know you.
When you said
as
these
what
things
you
take a
are.
lot of time, it's not overnight. So.
Yeah, you can't change overnight. Like it's
Right.
going to be over a period of time. So like I know some people get really bent up about it, but you shouldn't. If you're out there and you get bent up about it, don't, because they have to learn who you are and like how to like deal with that too.
Process that,
it's not just
It's
not just all about you. Like seriously, it's not. Like you have all your peers around you that care about you, your family, and they have to work it through just as much as you do.
Yeah. So if somebody fucks up, don't
rag on them. Don't bag them.
The point is, if they're trying, they're on your side.
There you
Yeah,
go.
they
Yeah,
are.
that's
They
well
are
said.
trying, you know, and like it took a while. It probably took like a couple of years for people to really like start calling me by my changed name.
But your real
And-
name.
Yeah, by my real name now, and by my gender that I prefer. Like,
Was
and
that
a lot
super-
of that was because of the changes that you would see.
And was
It's
that
easier.
super frustrating for you, or do you just kind of roll with the punches and just?
It
like,
was at first,
Yeah.
and then I got really like. I realized that it was like I can't be upset at them for, you know, trying to work with me on this, especially since it's so abrupt.
Sure.
Like if it's somebody new, like that was easier because I'd be like, I'm a dude, and I'd make up some kind of excuse like I was like premature or something.
Oh, you're like, I'm a
Yeah.
late bloomer.
Like no, and those are actual things. Like I met a guy
well, there.
that had a high pitched voice. He was probably like 18 years old, and he did not bloom at all until he was probably late 20s.
Wow.
Like did not have testosterone until then. So I made that excuse for a while until
Sure.
things started to.
Yeah, something vaguely medical
Yeah.
that you can't, you
'Cause
know,
it was just easier.
question or.
Yeah, it was easier. It was like having a disability. It was like, all right,
Yeah.
you know.
And the other factor of touching on the people who know you continue to misgender you. The people who have known you the longest will have the hardest time.
Yeah, they will.
Because
yeah.
the thing about when you're talking about someone, especially in the third person, I have noticed I get tripped up when I am talking about someone who is transgender and I've known them for a long time. I get tripped up when I'm thinking about someone in the past, and like the weight of my experience of them as one gender defines what pronoun I use.
Sure. Because
And I
your
was
brain,
like, shit, like that. No, it's
Well, our brain loves shortcuts, and it just that's what it shortcuts to.
And so-
if it's 2/3 versus a third, you're gonna go towards the 2/3.
Exactly.
In
Right.
your brain, yeah.
and as long as you correct yourself, like you're on the right path.
Well, that's that's kind
Well,
of.
it's all you can do. Like, if you're a transgender person, you're going to understand because you know that that's what you're going to go through. If you're not ready for that, then
You're not ready.
you're
I
not
think
ready.
This
yeah.
is also really good insight for folks out there listening who are thinking about it or starting the process, to have that perspective as well. Because I mean, I don't know anything, but I'm just saying everything you've said today has been helpful to me, who knows nothing or little to nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
No, I appreciate
Well,
that.
I think on both sides we would both have to be accommodating, and I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth for the love of God, but just yeah, it's a learning process for everybody, and we're all learning how to empathize and understand each other's situations and what everybody's going through. So just if you love a person that is transitioning in any form or any way, just support them, and if you fuck up, just apologize and say you'll do better, and listen to what that person that you were talking to says to you, and actually take that to heart.
Yeah, and on the same what Chance said earlier, like, don't get bent up. It's gonna happen, so just roll with it. It's a learning experience for everybody.
Yeah.
I think is
It
what
is.
I gathered.
Yeah.
From
I have two coworkers currently. One is a trans man. The other is gender non-binary feminine, I would say.
Okay.
But they still present like one presents like most people would assume that they're a lesbian. Especially considering that their partner is a feminine appearing person who goes by they them, right? The other the person who is non-binary trans feminine, in some ways, people will gender them male, even though her preferred pronouns are she, her, and everyone at work uses she, her. Like, you can't control how customers are going to
people that
gender
aren't-
someone.
Right.
They're not privy to the situation.
They're not privy to the situation, but also, like, I mean, she dresses pretty femme. Like, she's got some sick fashion. Like, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, but that's still, like, people are like, oh, well, maybe they're just like a super femme gay guy.
Sure.
It's like, but that's
but
like,
not quite.
That's not it.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
And so it constantly, like, people constantly get misgendered. And I'm just like, I feel bad by proxy. I'm just like, ugh, God, ugh. But I can't jump in and be like, actually, excuse me.
Yeah, nobody wants to
customer.
be actually guy, but you can empathize with.
I can empathize. Yeah, I feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I make it about me.
Wow, we are making every podcast about Alex.
Well,
You know
that's
what?
my
This horrible
boyfriend for
thing-
you.
There's horrible
so.
things happening to this person I work with, and I feel bad about it. And what's happening to them is making me feel bad and affecting my day. So
And
my
that's what's
name's
most
Alex.
important.
Oh no. Well, I would also like to touch on a subject that not a lot of people ask about too often.
Yeah, please.
Some people have asked me, like, okay, you came out lesbian, then you came out trans, and now you're with a dude. How does that work?
Yeah.
I'm
Can't
a
be all the
dude?
things.
And I knew you guys would be intrigued. I'm loving this. So, I cannot fucking tell you, except the fact that maybe I've just always been gay in my actual natural form. I don't know. Like, I
Yeah,
just
who can explain it? But you know how you feel.
you know, and I've only dated like one dude. So
Mr. Wet Lips.
Wet Lips,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that we know of. Oh God, I
Sexy,
miss him
sexy
so
Wet
much. Not. Yeah.
Spit like kind of dribbles down at the
But it
corner
gets
of his mouth.
crusty.
It's
He
crusty.
gets
You
crusty, and then when he opened his mouth, like you can see the like his teeth. There's like a string of spit that connects his top and bottom
Oh
teeth.
no!
Oh, I knew you guys were gonna love this. Yeah. Bringing back Wet Lips.
That's called a callback.
No, we are not bringing back Wet Lips. Bye forever. No. But I have no idea. Like, it just, I think
Well,
I
not all
personally just like people for who they are.
You're not attracted to a
I'm not-
specific genitalia. You're attracted to a person, and it doesn't matter what genitalia they have.
Very well explained, Zach. Kowalski in the corner over here. No,
Because, well, I mean, that's
And
exactly why I
no
feel.
but really,
But
no.
I identify as a bisexual man, but that's how I feel. It's just I don't particularly care what genitalia you have. Do I enjoy my company with you?
Yeah.
Do you want to fuck?
Also
That's-
that.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But no, that is it. Though. I mean, that's a big part
I
of
mean,
it.
I got comfortable with myself, and then I became even more comfortable with myself,
the
and I
thing,
was
yeah.
just like, I don't care who I sleep with, as long as you got a fabulous ass personality, then yes,
Yeah.
I love you.
But no, I
But-
can relate to that because I a few years ago came out as gay, but lived that for a couple of years and it just didn't really fit me, and I had gone very flamboyant and very out and about and told everyone, made a big deal about it because
Tried to figure it out.
yeah.
You bitch, you were splashy.
Oh, I was splashy as fuck. Just a big old rainbow of splash.
Yeah.
But no, and then I at a certain point I felt kind of a pressure of like, I don't feel this way anymore, but now I feel pressure to maintain this, and
Don't feel pressure.
and eventually it took about a year or so of that conflict in my own mind to just say, no, this is it. And now just if somebody says, oh well, I thought you were gay, I was like, no, I'm bi, and just that's it.
Have you been on Reddit lately? There
I'm
is
not on
so
Reddit, I'm
much on
sorry.
Reddit where most people, Man, actually, people on Reddit are super sweet. Like,
It
you can
depends on
post-
where
That's
you
shocking.
are on Reddit.
well, okay. You can. I saw a post today where someone confessed about themselves, and like everyone was super like open about it. They were like, you know what, do you like that's that? If that's what you need, and you got the right partner for that, who cares?
Sure.
Like, I think we are in a good prime where things are getting better with people like us trying to figure ourselves out, but we're
You're given a little
you
more
know.
room to figure that thing out, and
Yeah.
and it's been a little
and be
strange.
experimental, man. You know what? If you want to talk about it, a lot of people out there are kinky too. So, like, a lot of people will do what they're gonna do and enjoy themselves.
Yeah,
you know,
try it out, and
like, and that's not to like protrude on trans men, trans women, but
or make it a fetish or anything.
yeah,
like
no,
that.
and
Yes.
that's a whole nother topic for another night. But
yeah, we'll put
that's
a pin in
thing.
that.
Unfortunately, it's a thing, and we shouldn't all
weird.
feel like fetishes.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
there also is a fetish for everything. So
Yeah.
That's true. Would you say that in this process of coming out and then coming out and then coming out,
Coming out a million times.
would you identify as a gay man? Do you identify as a bisexual man? Has your attraction to gender changed gradually over time, or is it still kind of like it depends on who the person is?
No, great question. Actually, it feels like over time for me as I've progressed through my transition, even.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had my times before you, honey. I love you.
I love you too.
let me tell you about all the people I've fucked.
No, please tell me. I'll be
Yeah.
over here in the corner masturbating.
I'm not gonna get into detail, but like I went through and done a few one night stands and messed around with multiple genders and done multiple things
Trying it out, experimenting.
and experimenting. And yeah, I actually prefer men, but I didn't really like think about it that hardly. It was just one of those things that was like, you know what? This is fine. I can work with this.
Yeah.
You know,
No, but I get it though.
but it
Very
also
casual approach.
But it is a casual approach, but like
but
I
I
like
get
that.
it.
but
yeah.
but I also got really for a while. I will be really. I'm gonna get dark for 1 second because it's been a while since I got.
We
dark.
love dark on this.
It's been a
show.
while since I got dark. So I hooked up with a couple dudes, and I got really confused with myself when I like all blown trans bullshit, whatever.
Sure,
no
yeah.
no bottom
Still
surgery, just
figuring it out. yeah.
whatever. And I got really confused with myself. I was just like, what do I do with myself? I actually got even more depressed because I felt bad. I felt like, what am I doing? This
Yeah.
is not right. And I don't know. I was drinking myself to death for a while, and then I just kept on. And I met Alex. I don't know. I had a good connection with him, and he was very sweet, and it kind of changed my perspective on feeling really shitty about it. And
You found somebody that actually cared about you as a person
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
than just a
just
whole
a
to
toy,
you know.
a fetish,
yeah,
whatever.
a toy. It was a good.
And it's more common than you think that we are definitely fetishes, and we have feelings too. We want to meet people. We
You're
want to
human. I mean, for fuck's sake.
yeah. we want to meet somebody that likes us for who we are and doesn't want to abuse us.
We all
and
just
use
want to
us
be who
and,
we are around
yeah.
a person that we enjoy being around.
Yeah.
Word.
Done. End of story.
Wrap
that up.
Yeah, that definitely wraps it up. I would say. I
But
think
you didn't
we're.
tell us about how you first met.
Oh, are we gonna do that?
Shit, we're gonna do the dirty laundry on the
Yeah,
pod.
all right.
I want
Let's,
the dirty
let's
laundry
close
pod.
out. Let's close
All
out
right.
with that.
So,
Ah.
okay.
Because I don't actually know, and if
I
you
love
told
him
me,
so
I was drunk.
much.
So, if you remember way back on, we did a mental health episode where
Episode
I talked
3.
about my fucking weird ass stalker dude.
Suicidal stalker tendencies.
Suicidal stalker
Oh,
tendencies.
Yes.
That gentleman who has been unable to reach out to me since then.
Oh, that's great.
Because he does not know my current. I've blocked him and everything. It's fine.
Hell yeah.
His girlfriend at the time happened to be Chance's ex-girlfriend.
I'm cackling.
Wow, this is
Sorry.
coming-
Yes, it's weird.
All the way around.
Oh
Yes.
my god, it's
Yeah,
awful.
yeah.
So, Chance also, because he had this cat named Bubsy who now lives with me, and he was a fucking
He's still an asshole.
asshole. Eats all the plastic. Why do you eat the plastic?
Because it's
Stop
there.
eating the plastic. Fuck.
Forbidden
If
fruit.
you destroy another goddamn phone charger, I'm just gonna son of a bitch. Anyway,
Sorry, honey. He's gonna destroy everything.
everything that I love.
So we got to leave out decoy phone chargers.
No. He knows because
Oh.
he does it so that we sit up and be like, what? Because if I leave out a decoy, I will sit up and be like, is that the real one? Is it the fake one?
Oh yeah, and he'll
Goddamn.
freak out for a sec. He's like, "What? You've
he-
paid attention to me."
Yeah, he does it
Yeah.
to get our attention, especially when he's hungry.
What a prick.
I know, but an asshole. He wants to be fed, idiot. Anyway, so I work at a pet store, and Chance came in because he had a pet, and I thought he was super cute. But the interesting thing is that the Chance that I met then is very different from the Chance that I know now. The Chance I met then was very much, very, I would say hyper masculine. Like you had an air of like, not gonna talk to people, gonna
Machismo.
scowl all the time. Like he had a machismo to him, but he was still super fucking cute. And I was just like, oh, he's really cute.
And you still talk to me.
And I'd be like, how are you? And he's like, fine. I'm like, how's
Really?
life?
Was I?
It's fine. Yeah, you weren't
Oh,
really.
I can't remember
talkative.
now. Yeah.
But every time you'd go over to the cat section, I'd be like, let me help you with your cat food. What, blah, 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 blah. Let me ask questions. And I annoyed him into submission. And
Bullshit.
eventually he was like, hey, so like, you want to go like get a beer or something sometime? And I was like, yes, I do.
That's all
As
it
a matter of
takes.
fact.
Wow, did I really do it like that?
Yeah, you were like, I don't.
Hey.
You're like, I don't. Do you want to get a beer or something?
I was very shy. I'm still
I
in.
was like, yes, I do. And then we went and got a beer. And then
Aw.
yeah,
It took off.
Yeah, we dated. We casually dated for a little bit. We took a break for like a year, reconnected, and then once we reconnected, it was just like, bam!
Falling
Dig
down
it.
the stairs.
Fireworks.
And you guys are a very cute couple.
Isn't it
and-
disgusting?
It's
Oh, I love
gross.
it.
We
Oh,
stick
you
together
can't
like
wipe this
glue.
smile off my face. I love it.
Aw, thanks, Zach.
Yeah, and don't discount the simple pickup line because I got Kaylee, my on-off
Do you want to
again,
like,
girlfriend.
Zach? You want to go like grab beer or something?
I mean, it's a better than the
Thanks.
pickup line I used on you when we first met.
Hey,
Oh shit! No, you said it. Unpack that. Unpack that.
no, wait. I will say before you guys unpack that, I thought Alex was transgender when I met him.
Personal
And he
gossip.
wasn't. Yeah, remember? I thought, yeah. Because you're so short and cute.
Oh, I am short
Are you
and I
guys gonna
am
unpack
cute.
This?
All right, before
Can I
our
go pee really quick?
before
No, no,
our
wait,
guests
wait
throw
for
up, the first time I met Zach,
Everyone-
it's fine. Mac bled all over it earlier, so you did a worse.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't feel so bad.
yeah, I don't feel as bad.
Yeah.
I'm moving soon. Fuck this place. No,
That's a
so
solid gold studio.
it's a very simple story about a man who wanted a cigarette, and so
Oh my god.
a man stepped outside of a bar named Black Zia to smoke a cigarette, and somebody may have been smoking already or asked for one. His name is
I was
Zach.
probably smoking. Though.
You were probably smoking
I
already
still
at that-
smoked at that time.
Yeah, you were going for it. And we were talking and introduced ourselves. And then he was like, kind of got quiet. There was a quiet section here.
Which gave me my opening.
Yeah. He's like, hey, you want to go back in the alley? You know, we can just like kiss a little bit if you want. It's like, come on, let's get out. I was like, nah, dude, I'm good. And then I patted you on the head like a 5-year-old.
You sure did. Like an asshole.
Yeah, and then I finished my cigarette early and went back inside. And I was like, that guy's drunk, but he seemed nice. I'll give him a chance. And now we're good friends.
Yeah. And now we all make a shitty podcast together.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you not remember the other time I tried to hit on you? I think it might have been the same night, later in the night.
No, I don't remember this.
Oh, we went
God.
to Elmer's, and
Oh,
I
boy.
thought I'd be super sly about it and write my phone number on back of a receipt and just like hand it to
No,
you.
you did.
I sure as fuck did.
I think Jacob was there.
I don't even remember if it was legible. I remember writing it at the bar.
I remember
and
You're
throwing
like,
it
oh
away.
wow, I can't contact him, but I know he's a doctor.
I remember throwing it away in the bathroom, like whoop-a-doop-a-doo.
just immediately.
That was funny. Oh man.
No, I remember. I thought I was
shit we do.
I thought I was so suave and so cool.
Oh, don't worry. I've done that before on the back. Will admit that I have written my number on the back of a bar tab before.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
No, I did that to a guy who was working at the Australian Pie Company, and then but I wrote it and then skipped out, and then the next time I came back in, he's just like, I work retail. It's my job to be nice to you. And I was just like,
Oh.
ouch. But now I know not to give people my number when they're at work. Yeah.
But
anyway,
no,
but
I was gonna say, never discount a simple pickup. I got Kaylee to be interested in me, just asking, "How'd out here, huh?" I was literally because
What?
I just saw her in a crowd, and I was just like, I have to talk to this person. I don't know why, and that's what my brain came out with first. It was a summer day at summer orientation at our university. And I just saw her, and it was the first thing I could think of.
man, I wish that her response was like, you know where else it's hot? My vagina.
So if you want to,
That took about 2 years.
if you want to send us your pickup line stories, you can email us at
Please do.
So WDYLearn at gmail.com.
And if you'd like to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, that is so WDY Learn Pod. You can leave us a review on iTunes. You can ask us questions at this point, which we may or may not funnel to chance and not be responsible for the outcomes.
I was just gonna say you can reach out to me.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think
We'll do it through the podcast. And so I think that about wraps it up for this evening. We will catch y'all in a week or two.
Yes.
Okay.
Cue
mwah, mwah,
the
mwah.
guitars.
Goodbye, everybody. We love you.
Bye.
The So What Did You Learn podcast is brought to you by the So What Did You Learn Network. Theme written and recorded by Jacob Rose. Our logo was designed by Stevie Van Bronckhorst. Further work of hers can be found at stevievanb.com.